This is Channel 9 Eyewitness News at 10. Coverage you can count on.
Almost 6 full days after the tragic condo collapse in South Florida, search and rescue teams are still working around the clock. Tonight, we're hearing from someone on those front lines about the overwhelming task of trying to find the survivors.
We're doing our best and sifting through the rubble and hoping for finding a miracle.
Those miracles have been few and far between, but that does not mean the search teams are giving up. Good evening, I'm Greg Warman.
And I'm Martha Sagowski. It could be several days before everyone at the condo tower is accounted for. At this hour, here's what we know. 12 people are dead. 149 are still unaccounted for tonight. At some points today, more than 200 rescue workers were on top of the mountain of debris while searching for victims. One of the rescuers stumbled and fell about 25 feet. But they're expected to be okay. The steady rain has made it even harder to get the job done.
It's been very heartbreaking and very touching because there's a lot of folks who've have been experiencing some unbelievable pain.
Tonight, the Wall Street Journal reporting that the condo board sent a letter to residents in April saying $15 million in repairs were needed for the tower and that it was in bad shape. A quick inspection was done and no repairs were made.
Several local crews formed a task force to help dig through the tons of rubble. Channel 9's Alexa Lorenzo joins us live in the newsroom tonight. Alexa, the worker you spoke with today will start his next marathon shift in just about 2 hours.
Right, Greg, they are working midnight to noon, and while they're off the clock during those 12 hours, they're readying equipment to return to rescue on the next shift, and they remain hopeful. And here's why. Crews say because of the way the building collapsed, there could be pockets of air and voids where people may be alive and just trapped. In our newsroom, I'm Alexa Lorenzo for Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
All right, Alexa, what a story of those locals. Thank you. The American Red Cross here in Central Florida says it has 7 volunteers on the ground in South Florida assisting after the partial building collapse. Right now, they say volunteers are helping people in need find shelter, food, and more.
We have a licensed mental health volunteer offering emotional and spiritual support for the survivors. We also have shelter volunteers to kind of coordinate folks that have been displaced because of this. We got the call the day after the incident, and our volunteers left their families and to help their neighbors in South Florida.
The Red Cross says more volunteers from Central Florida could deploy soon. They have not said yet how many, though.
The head of America's emergency response teams talked today about her agency's ability to handle disasters like this one. FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell was personally visiting the site of that collapse. FEMA crews are also there helping families in need while also preparing for other potential disasters.
FEMA is on the ground. We have a recovery center that is working directly with families and loved ones impacted by this tragic event to get them the assistance that they need.
FEMA is also dealing with western wildfires and keeping an eye on the tropics. They say the most common natural disaster in the U.S. is flooding. President Joe Biden now plans to visit Surfside Monday. His press secretary said a presidential visit would take first responders away from their hard work. But today the president said he plans to tour the tragedy Thursday. He will meet with those first responders and families of the victims. President Biden has already spoken with Governor Ron DeSantis, pledging federal aid for the state. And our coverage of this tragedy does not stop here. You can find the very latest information on our website, WFTV.com, and on the free Channel 9 News app. Just download it from the Apple Store or Google Play. You can also get updates sent to your phone as soon as we have them, Greg.
Martha, the man accused of shooting a Daytona Beach police officer waived extradition in front of a Georgia judge today, and that means he'll soon be heading back to Volusia County to face the charge of attempted murder on a law enforcement officer. If convicted, he could face life in prison. Channel 9's Mike Springer is covering this story at the Volusia County Branch Jail, where they are preparing for that man's arrival.
A man who coached a local traveling baseball team for teens was just arrested for having child porn, but police say that was just the beginning of the disturbing items they found in his possession. As Channel 9's Sierra Putman explains, police looked through 3,000 pages of chats where he discussed fantasies and video about children. The Orlando Police Department says it investigated hundreds of internet crimes against children over the last year. Ahead at 10:30, Channel 9's Christy Turner continues our team coverage with the proactive steps detectives are taking to protect children online. Greg.
And Martha, the Orange County Health Department growing increasingly worried now about the spread of the Delta variant in Central Florida. Who the county's health officer is most concerned about with Delta cases doubling in just 1 week. Will masks be next? Mother Nature stood in the way of today's launch at the Space Coast. Up next, why you'll have plenty of chances to see a rocket lift off in person over the next few years. George?
Yeah, the rain has been tapering, but look offshore. There's more developing and approaching. So next, what this means for your morning drive, and I'll time out an even wetter day ahead for tomorrow.
Preparing you for your day means no surprises. It means you know what to expect, whether that's with your forecast, with what's going on the roads.
Weather and traffic every 10 minutes is huge because the weather changes that fast here in Central Florida. It's our job to let you know what's going to happen for the day ahead.
Whether it's alternate routes or maybe some construction that'll be popping up, that's such a big part of getting you ready for your day.
Whether it's breaking news or a story that's been developing all week.
We work together to save you time in the morning.
We're the team for your whole day.
In the battle against the coronavirus, about 40% of Orange County's eligible population still has not been vaccinated. And the county health department is growing increasingly worried about the spread of the Delta variant here in Central Florida.
And Channel 9's Lauren Seabrook talked with the county's top epidemiologist, who says he's concerned for people who haven't gotten the COVID-19 shot yet. Dr. Pino says cities across the country are seeing an increase in hospitalizations, in some places as high as 200% so far. We're not seeing that increase in Orange County, but he says it's only a matter of time if more people don't get vaccinated. And if you need to find a location to get a coronavirus vaccine or a test if you feel sick, we have that info all in one place. Just head to the special coronavirus in Central Florida section on WFTV.com.
SeaWorld Orlando is bringing back its popular Sesame Street Party Parade. The event with Big Bird, Elmo, and other fan favorites will return July 10th and run Fridays through Sundays. SeaWorld promises some colorful floats, dance, music, and special surprises when their parade gets going again. I'm a big fan of the Cookie Monster. Big crowds came to Jetty Park and around Florida's Space Coast today, hoping to watch a SpaceX rocket launch, but officials scrubbed the launch just 3 minutes before liftoff, so they'll try again. When they do go up, those 88 satellites on the rocket will help modernize the Department of Defense's space-based capabilities.
The architecture that was developed in the past was developed in a time when we really didn't have to worry about a lot of attacks on our space infrastructure. And so we used very few high-value satellites. But now we're in a time where those satellites are contested. So we want to make sure that we can go to affordable satellites and hundreds of them.
The backup window for today's scrub launch opens tomorrow at 2:56 p.m. Officials expect SpaceX to launch rockets from our Space Coast about every 6 months. So basically, it's the same time as they tried today. They'll try again tomorrow.
A lot of rain tonight. It's good sleeping weather when it rains. It's nice.
If we could just move the timing of the rain.
Time to nighttime.
Or go to bed now.
We can't. We got to work.
That's true.
But yeah, okay, so it's quiet. We actually have some rain right now. Yeah. It's in the process of ending. This is Lake Eola. Gorgeous shot right now, 74 degrees. Of course, our humidity between 90 and 100%. Another muggy night, but hey, at least it's not as hot as the Pacific Northwest, right? Remember that? Well over 100 places like Portland and Seattle recently. We've been much cooler than that, thanks partly to all the rain. And we have another batch of rain approaching Brevard County from the southeast, some lightning. Now, this will gradually weaken, but an isolated downpour like this one moving toward Vieira will be possible across Brevard County over the next couple hours. Some showers New Smyrna Beach, also toward Center Hill, Bay Lake, Groveland, Lake and Sumter County, some spotty rain in Orlando. We have one little push of rain right now pushing into Bithlo, about 14 minutes from Oviedo. All right, let's talk tropics, because there's actually 2 tropical waves between 2,000 and 3,000 miles away that we just want to monitor. Now, the second one is actually showing some signs of organization, and you can see that because you can see a little spin here between these areas of thunderstorms. So because of that, the National Hurricane Center, let's zoom back out, has actually given this farther one a 60% chance of formation over the next 5 days. Now, that means either a tropical depression or named storm. And by the way, if we get a named storm out of this, we'd have to watch toward this weekend and into next week. That would be Elsa, the E storm, and if that happens before July 6th, that'd be the earliest fifth storm or E-storm on record. All right, this is one model. There's a lot of uncertainty on both if either of these could form and then where they could go. But this is a European model showing that second wave a little more robust, a little more organization by this weekend near the Caribbean. From there, it could actually turn to the north or stay to the south. It could fall apart. It could be organized again. Just something we'll monitor this weekend and into next week. But right now, we're just monitoring. And overnight, muggy with spotty rain. Tomorrow morning, a stray coastal shower as you're going to work. Lunch hour, higher rain chances for Orlando. And then the drive home, Orlando westward, some scattered rain and storms. We'll talk more about these in the next half hour. But hour by hour, you can see rain is fair game at any point in the day, especially late morning through the afternoon. Here is your 7-day forecast. The weekend always in view. Tomorrow, wet 1 to 2 inches in spots. Same deal on Thursday, Friday, scattered afternoon storms. 4th of July weekend right now, looking at quiet mornings and scattered afternoon and evening storms. Martha?
All right, George, thank you. The vaccine has been a major weapon in the fight against COVID-19, but now health experts are trying to find new treatments for those already infected. Coming up, we're going to take a look at the studies going on now here in Central Florida. Also in Orlando, reserve officer has been suspended and is now under investigation tonight. Next up at 10, why investigators say he was double dipping when he applied for unemployment.
Weather from Severe Weather Center 9 is brought to you by the law offices of Attorney Dan Newland.
An Orlando police officer says an officer who retired several years ago tried to collect unemployment on top of his retirement benefits. He's now been suspended and is under a state investigation.
Yeah, the city says it doesn't believe that reserve officer deserved the unemployment benefits he filed for. As Channel 9's Jeff Deal explains, the officer applied for the benefits during the pandemic, but the city is now disputing his claims. Well, the extreme heat isn't letting up in many parts of the country.
It really is brutal out west. Coming up, the record-setting temperatures and heat emergencies being seen in several states, and many of those states don't typically have air conditioning in the homes.
And ahead, we're taking a closer look at some of the new treatments in the works here in Central Florida in hopes of stopping the spread of COVID-19.
Then next, what Orlando police are doing to make sure children are staying safe while they are online this summer.
You've heard the headline, but the day's big story needs more detail. We investigate why it's important right now with expert perspective from both sides on what's next and how it affects you. It's time to sort through what really matters with WFTV Tonight.
What possessed you to do that?
When you've got something that was this bad, somebody's got to pay.
Dateline, weeknights at 9.
As we told you about at the top of this newscast, a man who coaches a local baseball team for teenagers was arrested for child porn.
Meanwhile, Orlando police say it investigated hundreds of internet crimes against children over this last year. As Channel 9's Christy Turner shows us tonight, the proactive steps detectives are taking to protect children this summer online. We're staying in touch with Winter Park Police for more details about a shooting behind a movie theater. Eyewitnesses told police a man opened fire in Winter Park Village just before 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon, then took off. The shots did hurt 2 people, not severely. Police are looking for a gold or silver older model sedan. So far, they have not released a description of the shooter. Again, those victims were not seriously hurt.
President Biden continues to try and sell voters on the economic benefits of a bipartisan infrastructure deal.
This is a generational investment to modernize our infrastructure, creating millions of good-paying jobs.
He made the case for the package during his stop in Wisconsin today. The president previously linked the infrastructure bill to a separate bill filled with many Democratic priorities like climate initiatives. He has since clarified his comments, and now some Republicans are against supporting any legislation. First Lady Joe Biden may be heading to Tokyo. The White House says it is discussing whether she will attend the Olympics opening ceremonies next month. A final decision is expected later this week. The opening ceremonies are set for July 23rd. There is growing concern about crowd sizes at the games as COVID-19 continues to spread through Japan. To the pandemic right now, a new nationwide study of possible COVID-19 treatments is happening right here in Central Florida. Orlando was chosen because of the number of COVID-19 cases we've seen in the area. The research firm behind the study is now looking for dozens of volunteers who've recently tested positive for the virus. Channel 9's Angela Jacobs explains how it works and what sets it apart. The country could see record travel numbers for this 4th of July despite the pandemic. AAA expects more than 47 million people to drive or fly for the holiday weekend. Meanwhile, American Airlines is canceling dozens of flights a day because of a pilot shortage. And Southwest canceled hundreds of trips in the last week because of weather and IT issues. That caused some problems for one woman trying to fly home from a trip to see her grandchildren.
Here in Florida, AAA says nearly 2.6 million people are gearing up to take a holiday trip. The travel organization says more than 90% of folks want to drive to their destination. Those who will drive will find high prices at the pump. AAA says the average cost for a gallon of gas in Florida is up to $2.98. That is up 11 cents just in the last month. Well, today, Orlando city leaders helped cut the ribbon for the new headquarters of a major hospitality company. Sonesta held a grand opening for its new corporate office on East Robinson Street this morning. That company received funding from Orlando's Community Redevelopment Agency to create more jobs in downtown Orlando. Well, college football starts in a couple of months, and UCF star quarterback expecting a big year, even if the national media is not.
Coming up, Channel 9 sports anchor Joe Kepner will have his take on the preseason snubs for Dylan Gabriel and how the QB should respond.
Then next, we are checking out the latest from across the country as people from coast to coast are dealing with record-breaking temperatures right now. George.
Yeah, it's much cooler here in Florida. Tomorrow, more rain on our forecast model. So I'm updating how the rain and storms will impact you into 4th of July weekend.
The NCAA is another step closer to letting college athletes profit off of their name, image, and likeness. The Division I Council recommended the policy yesterday. Next, the Division I Board of Directors will meet tomorrow to vote on this recommendation. Under the policy, college athletes could make money without violating NCAA rules. College athletes are considered amateurs and receive compensation in the form of scholarships and school-related expenses, but they've long advocated for financial benefits related to their ability, and they're about to get them.
Bethune-Cookman University has secured a more than $100 million loan to settle a controversial dormitory deal that could have forced the school to close. Trustees say if the deal wasn't resolved, it could have cost the university more than $300 million. The university had to cut staff and hire an internal auditor to get the loan designed specifically for historically black college and universities. BCU has been working to build back its reputation amid lawsuits, a soaring debt, and its accrediting body placing it on probation. Trustees say the loan offers more hope.
This is a new beginning with Bethune-Cookman. Words cannot express my sincere appreciation to the administration for all of the hard work that they have done.
The loan will also help pay off bonds and pay for about $50 million in deferred maintenance. The board did not say what issues would be tackled first. The trustees did say they have a plan, but haven't offered more details yet. Turning now to the historic heat wave, the Pacific Northwest is shattering high temps records, all while excessive heat warnings and advisories are in effect for much of the Northeast. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez has more. Well, we were just talking about your son who lives in the Northwest, and they don't have AC out there. And what was the temp in his apartment?
Last night it was 94 degrees inside of his apartment at bedtime.
At night.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, no AC.
Thankfully,
they don't come with AC.
Right.
Because they don't need it normally.
Right.
But thankfully, in Seattle, the heat will break tomorrow.
Good.
Back down to the 80s.
Either it will break or he'll break.
We don't want that.
You know, one of us, yeah.
He's tough like his dad.
I hope so.
All right, unfortunately not as hot here. Right now we're looking at low to mid 70s. They would love that in the Pacific Northwest right now. Now just a few showers. They're a little more widespread offshore. So between now and morning, a stray coastal shower or downpour possible. There's a little rain here tracking right through Cocoa and Rockledge up toward Titusville. Also, the rain on the east side of Orlando is falling apart. Before I get to the forecast here, let's talk about the tropics. Two tropical waves. The farther one, that's about 3,000 miles away, is showing a little more potential for formation. Now, remember this spaghetti plot. Each line represents a different forecasting model, and when they cluster, you can be a little more certain where this thing may run. But this is a special type of spaghetti plot in that these are all the GFS. In other words, the American model. They're just different runs of an ensemble with slightly perturbed initial conditions. What that does is it gives us a whole bunch of runs to look at. And you can see by Friday in the Caribbean, and then by Sunday, which is July 4th, we'll have to see if this system can organize a bit. And there's a chance it could. It could become the next tropical depression in a few days. So on Sunday, we'll see where this thing is, how organized it is, and where it goes from there. So we're just monitoring things. Just realize there's something we're monitoring that will likely move into the Caribbean this weekend. We'll keep you updated. But for now, with that east to west wind, that's going to drive a lot of the rain over the next couple of days into our western zones. Remember, it pushes the sea breeze across the peninsula, Florida, throughout the day. So the heavy rain sets up west of Orlando with that southeast wind, and you'll see that here hour by hour. Tomorrow morning, you're driving to work, very little rain. Highest chance, though, near the coast. Lunch hour, higher rain chance for Orlando. And then by the end of the day, a few storms in Orlando and west of Orlando as we finish the day. So kind of like today, scattered showers and storms. May see some of that rain in Brevard County in the morning, in Osceola, Seminole, and Orange County, late morning through the afternoon. Lake Sumter, Marion County, highest rain chance afternoon and evening. And July 4th, looking at a chance for pop-up storms during the afternoon and evening. Here's your 7-day forecast. The weekend always in view. Wettest weather the next couple of days. Then by Friday, Saturday, Sunday, more of a scattered afternoon rain pattern as we head into your July 4th weekend. Greg?
All right, thank you much. Coming up at 11 over on Channel 9, local crews hard at work searching, of course, for survivors in the rubble of the Surfside condo tower. We'll tell you about the equipment they're using in this monumental effort and what's making things difficult for them. A compelling story at 11 o'clock.
Get local breaking news alerts when you download the Channel 9 News app.
Jacques Vaughn and Scott Skiles both played for the Orlando Magic and then came back as head coaches and then left the franchise with losing records as head coaches. Maybe Penny Hardaway can now succeed where both of them have failed.
Who actually has some breaking news in the sports department.
Yeah, Joe filed that just a little while ago. Penny Hardaway is now pulled his name out of the Orlando Magic consideration. He's going to remain at Memphis, said his job is not done. Honored to be considered. So he's out.
Stay tuned to see what happens next.
I like Becky Hammonds. First female head coach, hopefully, happens here.
Yeah, I like that too. All right, let's talk weather. Early in the morning, a stray coastal shower. Otherwise, very muggy, and then tomorrow scattered midday and afternoon storms, some of them even in the morning. And then Thursday, Friday, more afternoon storms, and that continues through July 4th. Greg?
All right, George, thank you, and thank you for joining us. Be back here tomorrow night at 10.
You can get updates between our newscasts by going to WFTV.com. Be sure to watch Eyewitness News this morning at 4:30 on Channel 9. And at 7 a.m. here on TV 27, you'll get weather and traffic info every 10 minutes.
Take care.
Get local breaking news alerts when you download the Channel 9 News app.
You're watching TV 27, brought to you by the law offices of Attorney Dan Newlin.